We ain't found Sith.
Warning, the following podcast contains speculation, which may be confused with spoilers, although it may also contain spoilers. You have been warned.
Hello, and welcome to issue 85 of We Ain't Found Sith. I am your host. My name is Eben, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Pedro.
Hi.
And joining us once again as we finish up our discussion of WandaVision is our good buddy Rag, Raul. Welcome to the show, Raul.
Hello.
So obviously the big thing, the big focus of our episode today is going to be WandaVision.
That Brazilian Wonder Woman.
Brazilian Wonder Woman. There you go.
Yeah. I thought that's what this show was going to be about today.
There you go. I am no longer like reading comics as they come out, but Pedro, I know you are. What are your thoughts as a Brazilian?
I didn't read it. I don't care about Wonder Woman.
Well, I didn't. I know you didn't read
representation, right? So that's cool. They're representing Brazil. At least someone is, because Marvel doesn't know anything besides the United States. That's it.
Well, Marvel really doesn't know anything besides the city of New York.
It's true. Yeah. Because if they did, they would have heard our podcast and made a superhero from Miami who just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Capitán Cuba Libre would be running around over there.
Yeah. His superhero name would just be Brody.
Compay. Oye, compay. But yeah, I mean, it seems like that's what it is, right? It's just kind of like, oh, let's expand our and DC really as the only comic book, because the thing about Marvel's meant to be mostly New York, because that was Stan's idea, was like, well, what if all our superheroes lived in the same city and they were constantly interacting with each other? DC wasn't built like that. DC, every superhero had their own city to protect. So they kind of expanded across the country and around the world, and a lot of times living in the same city in different parts of the country. I love the analogy. I once heard someone describe Metropolis and Gotham City are both New York. It's just that Metropolis is like downtown New York in like the daytime, and the freaking what do you call it? Batman is like the shadier parts of downtown New York at night.
Yeah, I don't think Gotham ever sees sunlight. It's just nighttime all the
time. Which was very weird when Nightwing moved across the river to Bloodhaven, and it was like a lot of daylight there. So it's like, anyways. So before we jump into the episode, did you guys check anything out over the weekend?
Yeah, and I can't remember. There was some trailer that came out or something, some news about a release.
I can't tell if he's like trolling us and he actually knows he's just trying to build suspense.
I swear, no.
Or if he's really just taking his shit.
It was the release date, I think, of Black Widow in Japan or something. Like they confirmed it was maybe April 29th or something like that, but I can't remember. Which to me it meant, okay, we're finally gonna have a Black Widow release finally. But I can't remember the details.
So excited!
I know. It's like that X-Men anime I told you about. Like the first 2 minutes, I mean, I'm vouching for those. Just after that,
but after
that, you've got no idea because you don't have
no clue. Gone. Nothing.
Well, I did get to check out some new stuff. I checked out Coming to America, and that's Coming to America because it's a sequel.
Pretty good.
Not the worst movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
It's not Coming to America. It's not coming to America.
I mean, we expected that, right?
Yeah. The plot is cookie cutter. A lot of the jokes are recycled, but a lot of those recycled jokes are still the best jokes in the movie. Which is kind of sad because you've had 30 years to do a sequel, and the funniest stuff is the same stuff you did in the movie 30 years ago, and a lot of the new stuff just didn't really. I don't know. It just felt like, ugh.
Sometimes you just don't need a sequel to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Sometimes
think.
you did it. You did the thing, and then you're done.
Yeah. Also, it feels like it felt very awkward living in the era of Me Too. And the whole plot of this movie hangs on the fact that when Akeem came to New York 30 years ago, Akeem was raped. Like he was drugged and raped, and she got pregnant.
Eesh.
And now 30 years later, he's finding out about the existence of his son.
Rape. It's funny.
I mean, like if in any movie, if this would have been like a reverse situation, if like the woman would have been raped, and 30 yeyears later the man shows up to claim his child, like this would be like the drama of the century, right? Like all the people would be like, give it the awards because it's so impactful. And so instead, this is like, yeah, the guy got raped. It's comedy. Eddie Murphy got
So
raped by
good.
Leslie Jones, and it's funny.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Leslie Jones. You know what I'm saying?
Ugh.
More importantly, LeBron just fucking canceled Pepe Le Pew, and they took him out of the movie.
Yeah,
But
that was odd.
why?
I think they felt like the scene just didn't play, and the only reason we found out about it is because the actress who was in the scene made a big deal about getting cut out of the movie.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah,
I just saw LeBron canceling Pepe Le Pew, and I'm just like, bro, it's a cartoon.
So the scene was gonna be, Pepe Le Pew is Pepe Le Pew, right? So the actress that's in the scene, slaps him, and then walks away or whatever, and then LeBron
LeBron
has to have that moment with Pepe about you got to ask for consent. You can't just try to go after women or whatever.
Yeah, to a cartoon. Right?
Yeah. So I guess they decided you know what, maybe this just doesn't fit in the movie, which is very possible. Maybe it just doesn't fit in the movie, and so they cut the scene out of the movie. And I guess the actress, when the agents found out that she got cut out of the movie, it's an actress I've never heard of before. She's one of these young up and coming, she's probably been on Disney stuff and is probably an Instagram influencer, and I've never heard of her. But apparently she's got Twitter followers and so that, so she was able to get some traction on it. That's how we found out about the scene getting cut.
That's what's so stupid about shit today. They just delete something that's existed forever just because they don't like of what it. Instead of evolving it into a new joke, they could have pulled the Anchorman with Pepe Le Pew. Like a joke that worked way back in the day, but now it doesn't really sit very well. Pull an Anchorman. Make all the women so much smarter and superior than these fucking morons that they just look like a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
the other thing from that trailer from that movie that broke news last week was the new more athletic looking Lola Bunny.
Oh boy.
Which had weird furry loving nerds all up in arms about why wasn't Lola Bunny sexy anymore. To which I was like, it's a fucking cartoon rabbit.
Yeah, but
I want a list. I want all the people who complained about the studio making Lola Bunny's boobs smaller. Because those are the guys that are going into children's movies and jerking off. Like, let's get those names out to the cops.
Hey,
All right.
was there a trailer that came out?
No.
Yeah, there was a trailer that got released, like I think over the last couple of weeks or something like that.
Oh,
And somebody, like, you know how the internet does it. They start going through things frame by frame,
Yeah,
and so
but
they're like, "Look, Lola's
it's
wearing like the more athletic, appropriate
right.
uniform."
That's less. That is less about her boobs being bigger or smaller or whatever, and more about just the way the climate of today is. You can't make a bunny or a fucking character sexy anymore, even though that's the appeal that they had back in the day. It has to be equal. She has to be just as part of a team as anyone else. But like you could still do that by keeping the same design. You know what I mean? It's more of a way just to like kind of take away from that
Right.
sexual aspect.
I'm just thinking that grown men who sexualize cartoon rabbits are a little odd.
Right. The people who actually get angry about this
Like,
stuff, yeah, this is pretty weird.
look, there are people who sexualize cartoon characters, and they
Yeah,
keep
the
their
whole
mouths.
country of Japan, correct.
Yeah, and they don't talk about it in public. It's not like oh, it's the guy that like goes like, "You made Lola Bunny less sexy." That's the guy that I'm going. That guy's weird. Don't let him near my nieces or nephews.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah, I guess.
You know.
But I mean, I thought it was not a bad design because now she looks like a
Look,
basketball player.
I think the entire movie's a mistake.
Yeah,
I think
I'll agree with you there. We'll just leave it at that. The movie shouldn't have been made.
I think you're trying to cash in on a 25-year-old property,
Yeah,
and then based off of what I read on the synopsis, like you had 25 years to come up with a sequel, and you brought nothing.
well, I don't care enough to do any research on it. I just saw the designs and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Lola Bunny is just doesn't have anything going for her, but whatever. And then I saw that it's
Also-
none of that design is going to be used because they're all 3D. So
Also,
who gives a shit?
let's also remember that Lola Bunny exists in the world of Space Jam, and to my knowledge, does not exist in any other Warner Brothers properties that came afterwards or before.
Probably. I don't know. I don't follow that shit. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I did see that LeBron canceled Pepe Le Pew, and I was just like, God damn it, you guys! Why do we have to just delete shit? Just fucking adapt it.
Leave my Speedy Gonzalez alone.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
he's not going to be Speedy Gonzalez anymore. He's going to be Speedy George. He just happens to be from fucking Mexico or some shit like that. They're going to ruin everything, bro.
Well, then he shouldn't be Speedy George. He should be Speedy Jorge.
Well, his cousin,
No, he's not.
Slowpoke.
Slowpoke Rodriguez?
Oh, he's done. Like, you cannot use that. Absolutely not.
These were my
or you can. Who cares?
these were my
It's still
compadres
fun.
growing up, man.
Not anymore. No, you can't. Like, you can't do it. I can't even articulate the words because I feel like I'm gonna get canceled somehow.
I mean, in the world of me having to watch Sylvester versus Speedy or Sylvester versus Tweety, give me Sylvester versus Speedy every day. That was always a much more fun cartoon than the Tweety Bird stuff. You know, the I Taw Putty Tat. There's another one. We're not with Tweety Bird. What, you're making fun of speech impediments? You know.
Well, I think this movie's just coming out because LeBron's agent probably like pushed Warner Brothers to do it because LeBron wants to one up Jordan in every.
This movie coming
Well,
out.
you ain't gonna get it on Space Jam. I'll tell you that much. Right.
And this movie coming out on HBO Max is not gonna be what they thought it was gonna be. I haven't even. I mean, Tom and Jerry's been out for like 3 weeks, and I haven't even checked that out.
I heard it did more. I heard it grossed more than the fucking Pixar or the Disney movie.
Which one?
Which one?
Soul or
No, the one that
Raya?
just came out.
Oh,
Yeah,
Raya?
Raya. I wanted to see that. I like those princess movies.
The thing with Disney is
Fucking weird as hell.
I think they kind of spoiled us by giving us Soul on Christmas, like for free, and now putting this one behind the $30 paywall. when they did the $30 paywall on Mulan, I think that movie didn't do like a lot of people didn't really like that movie. So despite them like making some sales, I don't think people were like, "Oh, okay, this $30 thing for Disney when it's gonna be like streaming in a couple of months anyway. Maybe I just go ahead and wait." Which Raya will be streaming, I think, in May, like
No, June.
on June.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I can tell you that I went over to my cousin's house on Sunday, and the kids were there, so they went ahead and they got it, just because
Kids, I get
when
it.
you got kids, man, like $30 to entertain a group of kids for a couple of hours, like that's well worth it, especially if you consider that taking all those kids to the movies would be like 40-50 bucks.
Right.
And plus you don't have to buy food.
Kids, got it.
So the movie was on. So in between talking to my uncles, I was kind of the animation looks good. I mean, Disney animation recently, like they've been
Killing it.
doing a good
Killing
job.
it.
The storyline was cookie cutter, but I may or may not have gotten choked up a little bit at the happy ending.
I know nothing about that movie.
Here do I. just saw magic, a dragon, and a sword. Call 'em- I'm in. Let's do
It
it.
takes place in a fantasy world of make believe where dragons exist
Right.
and there's magic.
Yeah.
I mean, really, as far as the premise goes, I'm pretty good with that.
So you know you're
Um,
Isn't she like Korean or something?
well, they're all Asian, but somehow they're not Asian because it's not a real world. It's like a fictional world.
Yeah, but like that, the story of that character isn't like South
I don't know the I
Korean
don't know the
folklore or
background
some
on
shit
it.
like that. I think it is.
I don't know the background on it. I can say though, from what I saw, better than Coming to America.
But not better than Tom and Jerry, which is bizarre.
You saw Tom and Jerry?
No, I saw the box office, whatever, the fucking grossing for these movies,
Yeah.
and Tom and Jerry made
I just
more. I don't know how much they
Yeah,
made. Right now.
I remember Tom and Jerry as like 5 to 6 minute cartoons.
Yeah.
Turning that into a 2 hour movie just feels like a chore.
Well, I saw reviews on it because I'm not gonna buy that. I'm not gonna pay to watch that shit. So I
Well,
watched
I don't have
review.
to. I don't have to. I have HBO Max.
Well, then maybe you should have seen it. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? If I get like 2 hours to kill, then I don't because I still gotta dive into that Sandman box set.
Maybe you should have seen it when you didn't go to Andrew Schultz with me. I'm just
I
throwing that one out.
I
There.
was asleep when I
Nah.
didn't go to Andrew Schultz with you.
So that movie apparently the plot is about a girl trying to fake her way into like a hotel gig, and she has to be like responsible for a wedding that's going on. And then you have Tom and Jerry just fucking shit up. So it's pretty much just little shorts, little gags of Tom and Jerry
In
sprinkled throughout the
between this
movie.
other story of the
Right, correct. That's what it is. And that's why that movie sucked. Or
and
apparently.
at
I
the
haven't
end of the
seen it.
movie, she learns a lesson about
Of
not trying to
course.
make your way and actually
Of
making it.
course. How are we going to program our kids not to be thieves? Come on, man. You got to do it right. You got to do it with Tom and Jerry, boy.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw reviews on it, and they all said the same thing.
there you go.
That it didn't have enough Tom or Jerry.
The only review I saw, which was a clip on YouTube that I did not click, was just a thing that had a picture of Tom and Jerry, and it just said Jerry's a dick. So
That's accurate, yeah.
Anyways, so Coming to America, if you're a Prime member, it's not going to cost you anything. Check it out.
Oh, that shit's on Prime?
Yeah.
Boy, I'll watch that.
If anything, I mean, look, you get the barbers are back.
Yeah.
You get Arsenio Hall playing the creepy pastor. And Eddie Murphy even comes back as Randy Watson, lead singer of
hold up. Hold up. You said Eddie Murphy? Okay, I'm in. Let's do it.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Um,
I don't need anything else. I just need that guy.
it's a bit cheese, but
Eddie
if
Murphy.
you got
Got
nothing
it.
else going on, it's totally worth checking out. Anyways, let's hop into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode.
Right. So they made Wonder Woman Brazilian. I don't understand. I'm just kidding.
How does that work?
Oh, because she's an Amazon from the Amazon.
I see. That's
Is
the
that what
funny
it is?
thing. That's the funny thing about. I've never read a Wonder Woman comic because marketing for. So I never read a fucking Wonder Woman comic my entire life. So I had no idea what Wonder Woman was about. I just knew that she was Amazonian. So when they said Amazonia, my little kid brain went, "Oh, she's from Brazil because that's where the Amazon is." And then I just let it die at that because there's no way in hell, fucking, the fucking 10-year-old boy is going to be reading fucking Wonder Woman in like 1997. That's not happening. So I was just like, all right, whatever, throw away. And then I found out through the movie, because I don't know anything about Wonder Woman, that she lives on her own little island and they're just called Amazonians. Like, okay, well, that's a thing.
So my so the name.
So what I'm trying to say is they made a comic for me because they were like, your dumbass brain. Now we just fixed it.
So the Amazons were part of like Greek literature, and when the Spaniards came to South America, and they met like the tribal people, like I guess among these tribal people were these like tall, warrior women.
Probably not. Not in South America, man. Not in South
they-
America.
Well, I mean, keep in mind that in the time of the conquistadors, the average height was like 5 foot tall.
Okay, yeah.
We've grown since then.
They're standing in bushes. They
Actually, if you go to South America, I think the average height is still 5 feet tall.
It's very small. Yeah.
But and I don't mean that as a slur. I mean that as an observer and as a person who's like lived his entire life among Hispanic people and who lived in a world of retail where South Americans were constantly coming in to do business. When you're 6 feet tall, which means that you're average height everywhere else in this country, but you tower over the people of the city.
Whoa.
Oh, hold up. Are we height shaming Raul real quick? Boy, do you need some platform shoes?
Isn't Raul like 5'9"?
I'm 5'7". Okay.
Okay.
Respectable.
That's respectable.
Not.
Yeah.
I'm not
I respect that.
from the Amazon, but
and you're tall for a Hispanic person, Raul.
I am. It's funny, when I moved to Orlando, I was like always looking up. I'm like, where did these giants come from? And then I go back to Miami, and everyone's my height. I'm like, okay, this is normal.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I am. I usually am like the head above the crowd and most of the people of Miami. And then I go to Orlando and I'm like, okay, everyone's the same height as me. Except for, for every once in a while you bump into the occasional 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" person. Like I would be like one of the tallest people in my office if it wasn't that like I also work with a guy who's 6'4". So it's like I can still take him though. I got like 200 pounds on him.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? That's where guys' brains always go to. They're just like, damn, that guy's taller than me. I still could fuck him up though.
Yeah. It's our reptilian brain, bro.
It's our fucking caveman brain acting up. I can still take him.
I'm
6'7". I can still LeBron James. I can take him.
I'm full of shit. He's 6'4". He's got a good reach on it.
He's probably gonna fucking He'll probably Spartan kick you to hell and you're done.
Yeah.
That's just what's gonna happen.
But
no. So yeah, no, that was a tangent, little Amazonian joke.
Little Amazonian tangent there.
Yeah.
But that was my understanding is that like when the conquistadors arrived in South America and saw these like warrior women, they're like, oh, but we must be in the Amazon.
Yes, I know. I got that, but I just thought that's where they originated from.
Yeah.
But no, there's a new trailer that came out for the Snyder Cut. It was very short, and it was a flash thing. It showed
Zack Snyder's been releasing these like character-centric teasers.
You know what? My hype for Snyder Cut has gone down dramatically because I watched a video online of somebody like talking about this whole thing, and they're just like, remember, if you didn't like Batman v Superman, you're probably not going to like this because Snyder had 100% control over that movie.
Exactly.
And I'm like, damn.
Also remember that we didn't like the ending of Wonder Woman,
Right.
and Snyder had his hands in there.
Right. So I'm like, damn. But will it be better than the original? I hope so, but I still probably won't like it because Batman v Superman is pretty bad.
What do you guys think of the whole Joss Whedon thing?
What happened to Joss Whedon?
I've purposely
Hold on. Before you say anything, he like fucking molested a kid.
No.
I don't think so.
Hold on. Okay. He
No.
he said some sexist shit.
No, I think he was just a dick. I think that's the whole thing. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
he wasn't canceled for some fucking shit? Damn.
What Ray Fisher? First of all, Ray Fisher has not said at all what Joss Whedon did.
Cyborg.
Other than he didn't like working with him, and he hated working with him, and he didn't like the way he treated him, and that was it. Charisma Carpenter, who was on Buffy and Angel, came out and she did list a few things that happened. And one of them is a very disturbing thing because she basically accuses him of writing her character off the show because she got pregnant. Which, if that's true, honey, get a lawyer because I'm pretty sure the freaking the studio is liable for that. And if he did indeed fire you because you got pregnant, that's illegal in like every state. So there was a famous case of
20 years ago, by the way.
This was in the 90s, I believe.
Right.
Of an actress who got fired because she got pregnant, and she wanted like a $5 million settlement.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe she should have done that back when it happened. I don't know why people attack people 20 years later. It doesn't make any sense.
It's one of those things. The other one that was a little bit worrying, but there were no details, so I don't know what happened. Michelle Trachtenberg, who was introduced in Buffy season 4 as Buffy's younger sister, who I believe at the time was like 16 or 17 years old. I'm assuming, based off all the stories that I've read, he probably chewed her out. Like, he probably screamed his head off at her. But she said, oh, and there was a rule that Michelle's never to be left alone in a room with Joss again. And I feel like if there would have been some impropriety of that nature, there wouldn't have been a rule about Joss never being in a room with her again. There would have been like, Joss needs to get like off this set now. Creative differences, whatever. Right, like, he's gone.
Well, I don't know, because Jeffrey Epstein ran around forever.
Yeah, but Jeffrey Epstein was way more powerful than. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein apparently had like, blackmail dirt on like leaders of the world and shit like that. Joss Whedon's not that powerful.
Point is, it wasn't isolated.
Yeah.
So if it was that.
But I feel like if he would have been inappropriate with her, I feel like she would have said like, he brought me into the room and he touched me or something. But she didn't say that.
This is all Buffy?
This is all from back in the days of Buffy.
No, this is 20 years, bro. That shit. If you didn't do anything at the time, bro, sorry, not sorry, man. You should have done something. What happened to him now? Like, what are people?
It's one of those things where it's like, he's like, from what I've been reading, from what's been coming out, like he's not Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. He's not Bill Cosby. He wasn't like he was not a serial rapist.
He's just a dickhead. Yeah, I heard when he was 8 years old, he kicked a fucking puppy. Oh, that guy's terrible.
It sounds like he was a dick to work for, which a lot of creative people are.
Yeah, Prince.
And especially like when they're like super successful and everyone is kissing their ass and telling them what a genius they are.
Yeah,
they become even more like.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. Yeah,
like I can do whatever the fuck I want. This is my
Kevin Hart.
No, I don't know if that's true, but people are like, bro,
Kevin Hart can't get out of line. The Rock would kick his ass.
Yeah, exactly. He can't do that shit on that set. But apparently, when he's
the Rock won't get out of line because somebody will call Stone Cold.
In the comedy world, he got like bigger than and then he He acts bigger than he is. Anyway, well, no pun intended? Maybe no, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so he's just a dick. It wasn't anything canceled.
It sounds like, from everything that's been coming out, it sounds like this
It
guy
sounds like some Warner Brothers fucking promoting. That's what it sounds. Hey guys, hate this because Snyder Cut's coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Here's what I'm gonna throw this out there. Maybe one day Ray Fisher will tell us what happened, and we'll be able to check to see. But this is my theory. Joss Whedon likes comic books.
Yeah.
But Joss Whedon probably likes the comic books that he grew up reading in the 70s and 80s. Cyborg was always like an ancillary character, off to the side. I don't feel like Joss was probably a big reader of Teen Titans. So he probably didn't even know who the fuck Cyborg is. So when DC decides, 15 years ago or whatever, that they're going to make Cyborg one of their premier characters, Joss is like, what the fuck do I do with this fucking character? I've got all these fucking icons. I've got Superman, I got Batman, I got the Flash, I got Wonder Woman, I got Aquaman, and you're giving me Cyborg. I don't want to fucking do shit with this fucking character. And I feel like that's the attitude he probably brought into the fucking movie. That's why, like, the character got almost, like, reduced to nothing in it. And he probably treated the actor like, you're some fucking expendable piece that I have here because the studio is making me put you here. And I don't really want to deal with you. And he probably wasn't shy about telling him that shit.
Here's the plot twist. I actually thought Cyborg was the most developed character in that fucking movie.
He was.
Yeah.
He had to
That's
be.
a sad thing.
He had to be because everyone else had such an ingrained backstory. This is an assumption, right? But everyone knows about the Flash. Everyone knows about Wonder Woman. Everyone knows about all these guys. People don't know, like I've been saying, about not Ray Fisher, about Cyborg. So they had to do his little origin story there.
Yeah, but I still felt like he was the most, developed.
Right.
If that was the case, if that was the case that he, if that was the case that like he's like, oh fuck this character, well he kind of fucked himself because he made a pretty decent origin story for this character.
I think like he just cut down a lot of the footage. Like I feel like most of that was shot already, and this was just Joss Whedon trimming. And again, I feel like it given like one of the guys that I heard on an interview recently was James Marsters. Was it James Marsters? Yeah, the guy played Spike on Buffy. And he was talking about when the character of Spike started getting popular and all the fandom started like shipping Buffy and Spike, that Joss pulled him aside and was like, I will fucking kill your character. You'll be fucking out of a job. Like, what the fuck? And when James Marsters talks about it, he goes, it wasn't that he was angry at me. It's that he was angry at this situation because in Joss's mind, the whole thing of the show Buffy is that the vampires are the things that you got to get over in high school. They're the bad parts of life. And the fact that the fans were like, we want to see Buffy and Spike, they're like you're rooting for her to get together with like the bad things in life, and that's not the point of the story. And so
there's so many jokes in there, Eben. There's so many
I know
sexist jokes in there. I'm not gonna touch any of them, not one.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, little kid, but I like you, dude.
They're in there.
You're special.
They're in there.
But it was one of the things when he talks about it. He goes at the end of the day. He goes, Joss wasn't mad at me. He was mad at this situation that he couldn't control, and he was taking it out on me. And I feel like that's Joss. I feel like Joss walks into Justice League. They've shoved this character of Cyborg that he doesn't give a shit about, and he doesn't know what to do with it. And if it was that character wouldn't be in the movie anyway. But he's got to take it because this is what he's been handed. And he's not shy about letting his feelings known that, like, oh yeah, fucking Cyborg, like, yeah, you're the fucking. And you know what? I wouldn't put it past him. He may have used the word token. You know, like I would not put it past Joss Whedon to have thrown that little dig in there.
That's pretty fucking awesome, actually. He incorporated Lord of the Rings somehow. That's pretty impressive.
As a character, I think Cyborg is more
Well, Cyborg. I mean, I was I read Teen Titans as a kid, so to me, Cyborg was always an interesting character. I can see whereas, like, if you're a Fairweather fan who grew up watching, because I think Cyborg was in a few episodes of like Super Friends.
I legit know nothing of Cyborg. The movie is what I learned from Cyborg. I learned that like the mother box gives him power and shit.
Yeah. Well, that's a retcon of the last 15 years.
Well,
Like that.
well, that's what I know of him because I did
of
not
the
read.
original-
I didn't
That
read
wasn't part of the
no.
original Cyborg storyline. Anyways,
about
we've
none
been
of
on a
that.
tangent now for like 20 minutes.
No, bro, this is all important stuff. Not really.
All right, let's get to the stuff that the people who are tuning in
WandaVision.
on the Vision, or as the internet put, Lawanda Vishan. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No, I don't
Oh.
internet.
Oh, the black Twitter.
With
Yeah.
with Vision
Vishan,
the turtleneck with the chain.
bro. Oh my god, I live for those
that's where that
memes.
came
Vishan.
Okay.
That's Black Twitter, bro. They turn Vision into Vishan, and he's a piece, bro. He's such a piece.
Mhm.
My goodness.
I will say that I enjoyed it.
Oh,
I did think it fell a bit underwhelming of an ending.
I was wrong. I told Raul you were gonna love it.
Let's be honest. After I was invested for 8
And here's
hours.
the hot take. If this was bingeable, everyone would be fine with it. The fact that we had to wait each week and build so much anticipation for it ruined the ending for this shit. This is why you gotta just drop it. Just drop it, let everyone watch it. Because straight up, our theories on this podcast were 100 times better than the finale of this show.
We got 2 months worth of programming out of it, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but our discussions were way more intriguing than what
I'll be honest. If they would have dropped it all at once, we would have done an episode back in January talking about WandaVision, and we may not have done another episode between then and now. So I'm not gonna keep a gift horse in the mouth.
Well, they still kind of ruined. I don't know. I didn't like the finale at all. I think there were points in the show that gave me hyped, like super hyped. Some of it was like kind of dull, but overall, I was telling Raul, I was like, I liked the show, hated the ending, hate save Peter, bro. Why did they ruin my boy Peter like that? Bad writing, bro. Bad writing all over the fucking place. Peter, they fucking ruined his ass, bro. Why are you gonna hype everyone? The world got hyped when you brought in X-Men Pietro into this fucking shit. And then they turned him into Ralph Boner? Come on, bro.
I have a theory on that I told Pedro. Okay.
Shit.
Ralph Boner sounds like a fake name.
It does sound like a fake name. And we never found out who Jimmy Woo's protective custody person was. So it could
probably
be
him.
It could be him.
Ralph Boner sounds like a protective custody name to me.
And it could have been that so it could have been that he somehow wound up from the multiverse, from the X-Men multiverse into this universe. They were protecting him from something, so they put him in this random city, and then they're like, "What do you want your name to be?" And then he's like, "Boner." So, and he kind of had that reaction when Monica was like, "Ralph Boner." So I think it still could be Pietro.
No.
Because we don't know if he got his powers from
I'm gonna say
it's not.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not because
I will
we're 100.
What? I will say they're currently filming Doctor Strange 2. So what happened in WandaVision could affect what happens in the filming of that movie.
It will. And we don't know if Agatha gave him his power. We know the necklace, he was under control with that. But we don't know if she gave him his power. So it could be Pietro. It could very well be him.
Okay. Now it goes right back to it. It goes right back to it. Is that good writing? No. That's horrible writing. What, you're going to hype up a thing that should have been revealed within the show? You're going to hype it up later? That's bad writing, bro. You don't bring in the actor who played the best fucking Quicksilver into a show about Wanda the Scarlet Witch and not make him Pietro. You don't do that.
So
Just
there's things that I agree with you with, and it's like, okay, wrap up the plot stuff that you set up in the show, and then you set up new plot stuff for later. They did that kind of perfectly with Wanda and her story arc. So the whole show was her.
It's her journey
basically
through grief.
100% journey through grief. Her trying to accept the loss. She did at the very end. She accepted the loss. She took it with her, and now they set up the next story. Her researching, what is my lineage? What is the Scarlet Witch? What am I the destroyer of? Like, what's going on?
I would disagree fully on that. I think
don't
they did
know,
a
man.
terrible job tying her together. Terrible. And they painted her as a fucking hero at the end, and she's a legit villain. She's a fucking bad guy.
She's an inadvertent villain.
That's every villain. That's all of them.
No.
Yeah, Thanos wants
No.
to save everybody by killing off half.
Some
He's a fucking bad guy.
Oh,
Yeah, but some villains are doing the bad thing and they're fully aware they're doing the bad thing.
Yeah.
Wanda, I don't think was aware until like episode 8.
Doesn't matter. She's a
That-
bad guy.
that
She's a
she was
bad
doing
guy.
a
She
bad
did
thing.
it. She did it. And she didn't even apologize. She walked by
She did
all of them.
apologize.
She did not. She walked by all of them with her head down, and then they started fucking berating her. Oh, can you please let my kids out of their room? She didn't apologize in that scene. She was just like, oh, I didn't have control. Bad guy. Bad guy. She's a bad guy. You know who did have a good arc though? You know who did have a really good arc? Vision. This show was about Vision. Vision's arc was really good.
How did
He
you
should
feel
have
about the
died.
resolution?
He should have died a better way. And I've told you my theory on this shit. But I think his journey through the story was way better than Wanda.
I did.
What did you feel of the resolution of that?
They did. There was no resolution. He just flew off.
That's White Vision. But-
So I was totally expecting some sort of magic merger where Wanda used like her powers to like infuse like this vision that she had with the body, right? That's what I was expecting. Instead, we
All
get
right, boys, I'm done with this one today.
instead we get. First of all, I mean, if you're dealing
Hold on,
with
huh. Before you continue, you know why I'm laughing and triumphantly raising my arms?
because what?
I was telling these guys, I was like, the way they ended Vision was the laziest writing I've ever seen, where they just touch him on the head and we're good. What they should have done is found a way to merge both of them, fuse them both together, creating one Vision, so that you have a reason why this is not an enemy or anything. And it would also add to the sacrifice of the old Vision, so now we have a White Vision.
Well, it
now he's
would
like,
give, like if he does the thing right where like he activates the memories that are within Vision's programming, and then somehow you get that like merger where this Vision that Wanda created is almost like a piece of Vision's soul,
he is
and that
Vision's
gets
soul.
like reintegrated into the body. Instead, now what we're gonna get is we don't know what's this Vision that is an artificial intelligence that
He
does
has
not
no
have
soul.
the Mind Stone, but that now all of a sudden is having all of these memories.
He has the memories. He has no soul. So he doesn't care who Wanda is. He doesn't care who her kids are. He doesn't care who the Avengers are. He knows who they are. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
we don't
straight out of the
know.
comic. That's
We
straight
don't-
out of the comic.
Yeah, but we don't know yet because so when Wanda created this world and then she created the Hex Vision, I had pointed out that it looked like she was using the yellow energy from, and she confirmed it in the show. She was using the yellow energy from the Mind Stone. Well, if you notice in the scene when he touches White Vision, there was yellow energy that surged through him. So maybe
Yeah,
not
but that's
only
just
did that
sim- that's
unlock, but maybe there's something else there.
that's
We
just
don't know.
visual. That's just visual storytelling. That really doesn't mean anything.
We
It's-
don't know, Pedro.
It's
Don't
open for
assume.
interpretation.
Sure,
We don't
I
know.
guess. No, it does. We do know because had he have any connection at all, he wouldn't just been like, "Cool, I know this, peace," and just leave. He would
Have
be
you
like, "I gotta
ever
save
been-
my wife."
Have you ever been a robot that has just had a lifetime of memories unlocked? Come
Right,
on,
but
Pedro.
Vision's
It's
like
true,
3
I know.
years old, bro.
Yeah, what are you talking about, bro? He
That's
was
why I said
he was literally born yesterday. Remember
lifetime,
that?
a
Remember
whole
that line?
lifetime.
Remember that line, guys?
What I expect is more of maybe the Jarvis programming.
Dude, it's straight out of the comics. It's White Vision. White Vision is an imperfect form of Vision. The soul of the original Vision died with that Vision. So next time he confronts Wanda, he doesn't see her as his wife, and he explains it to her that the previous Vision was your husband, but I'm not the previous Vision.
I'm just the same software.
I'm the same guy, but I'm not that guy. So he doesn't see her as his wife, which should have ended that way. He should have did the merger, but still never got the soul. So when he went to confront Wanda, he just says, "I don't," pretty much breaks up with her, or fucking just doesn't recognize her as the love, or I see your soul, I only
Or
see your.
I'm a robot. I'm incapable of feeling love.
Yeah, and then pieces out, making her like, "Fuck, this sucks. I lost the one thing I created all this for." And then somehow managed to somebody should have killed her kids and then made her lose her fucking shit, and then House of M. Let's go. That's what it should have been.
We don't know what her role is going to be in the next Doctor Strange movie.
Doesn't matter because it's not good.
We know that she's at the end of the movie. She's studying the Darkhold. There's a lot of rumors that the Darkhold is the book that was missing from the library in Doctor Strange.
Holy shit! There was a book missing, and they said that was like a forbidden book.
Yeah.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, it has to be that.
We know it wasn't the book that was it Caglio? No, not Cagliostro. Mads
The one with
Mikkelsen's
Dormammu
character.
in it?
Yeah, it wasn't that one because that was the same book. Remember when he pulls the book and like those pages have been ripped out?
Yeah.
And so he uses like the time stone to like reverse the time on the book and restore the pages. So like we know it wasn't that book, but there was a book missing in the background.
Yeah, I remember them saying there was like there were like circles. They were in like maybe hexagons or
yeah,
like
they were in hexagons.
They're in hexagons, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it all connects, guys. It all connects. Yeah, because I remember they were on the wall, right? They were like they were like displayed on a wall, and one was missing.
It's like almost like a cage thing.
They were bookshelves, guys. They were weird. They were weird.
They were on the wall. I just remember them being on the wall, and he asked the fat librarian dude, and he's like, "Yo, what's this?" Whatever, that guy. And he's like, "Yo, what book's here?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a forbidden book of the dead or some bullshit like that." And then that's it. And they just left it at that. So that makes sense. So
in
Agatha all along, right, Raul?
Yeah. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when they introduced the Darkhold, which, by the way, was a different prop from the prop in WandaVision. They did not use this. They did not recycle the Darkhold from the show. That was used to like open a portal and basically into like other dimensions, and that brought back the dead. But also in that season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is when we got Ghost Rider. So I mean that'd be a cool thing for like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness to introduce the Ghost Rider. But again, like we're getting ahead of ourselves. All these fan theories are the reason why I think like shit flew off the handle and got off the rails.
And all because we didn't binge it. Had we binged it, we would have just been like, it was all right. They could have done better here, but whatever. The fact that we had a whole week to come up with a better storyline than these dimwits did for fucking Disney writing this fucking basic bitch bullshit. Ugh.
They're doing it for money, man. They
I know.
Make sure people stay subscribed.
Yeah. Well, what do you think
I know why they do it.
What do you think of the ending, though? The little post-credit sequence where, Agatha, where Wanda in her astral projection is studying the Darkhold, and all of a sudden hears her kids calling out for help.
She killed her kids, so why the fuck does she care?
She didn't kill them. They were never real.
She killed them. She killed them. She deleted them. There is a reason why there should be a consequence to shit. The fact that she's reading this book, what's her motivation? Why is she doing it? Why does she care?
She's doing it because she was told, one, that she is the Scarlet Witch and that the book talks about her. So now she wants to know what that's about.
What
She
is this
also was
Scarlet
told that she
Witch?
was a destroyer of worlds or something like that, which is
Do you
very Phoenixy, by the way.
do you think that's better than having a reaction to something being taken away from you and you trying to getting it back?
How would she know
I
that
don't
that
think
book
so.
can do that?
No, fuck. Not that she would know at the end of it, but she would like find out that this thing could do it, and then that would have a reason why she's
Well,
looking in that book.
Maybe, but I don't think that was the initial reason she started.
but
I
let's
understand that. I'm talking about bad writing. It was
yeah.
bad
But
writing all
let's
the way
also
through.
but let's also go through. Let's look at it from Wanda's perspective as well. Wanda thought that she got her powers from the Mind Stone.
Yeah, and they
Wanda thought
proved.
that her powers were telekinesis and this like ability to like implant thoughts into people's minds.
And so did everybody who never read a comic.
And so but so did because she never had any other powers that she displayed. And
Because
so
Fox, correct.
all of a sudden now she gets this revelation that no, you're a witch and
We own
you have
Fox,
access to magic.
and we could make X-Men.
And you're not like Doctor Strange. Doctor
Yeah.
Strange has to use like incantations and artifacts and things to channel the magic through. You have access directly to the magic.
Mutant, right?
Yeah. Well, not because you wouldn't say Agatha's a mutant.
Right, but she's a mutant. That's why she could do this willing. Like that's why she's a what is it? An Ali Sue, whatever
Mary
they call
Sue?
it. A Mary Sue. She knows how to do everything.
Yeah.
Because she's a mutant, I guess.
Yeah.
But see why they spent so much money on Fox and they didn't do anything with it, guys. Nothing. 0%. They could have. They could have. They could have done.
You don't know what they're gonna do.
I don't care what they're going to
Although,
do. I
I
care about
think
what.
we saw-
This is my theory on all these Disney bullshits. It's always about what they're going to do. I want to see them do it. You know what I mean?
Hey man,
But
it's
what
a
are they
formula
gonna do
that's
in the
working
future?
for them.
Yeah, I know, but it's fucking whack. It's so fucking frustrating. When like I said, I'm not going to trash the show itself because I thought the show was fucking good. Like the first 3 episodes were trash. There was like 1 or 2 in the middle that were bad, but pretty much the rest of it was pretty fun. But the ending was so like lackluster. It was boring. It was like written by an 8-year-old. It was like so fucking simple. Like
It
punch you.
failed us. It really did, and like just Agatha too. Agatha is
Basic bitch villain. Oh, I want the
basic
power.
bitch villain.
Yeah, I think I don't know when they're gonna like wake up and realize like, oh, I understand we're writing these movies for 8-year-olds, but we have a much wider, much broader audience.
Yeah.
We may need to get a little bit smarter on how we write these shows.
I was hoping that Agatha would be, it may seem superficially that
Maybe she
was
seemed
just
like a
after
villain,
power.
but she wasn't really villainous.
More so like because there were things that she mentioned in the second to last episode about this is chaos magic. You have no idea what you've unleashed. You have no idea how dangerous you are. All this
Yeah,
stuff.
that was Disney lying to us again.
Right, and it turned out she just wanted the power. But
Yeah.
I was hoping that it would be something like she was trying to take the power away from someone that she thought was undeserving because she wanted to prevent a massive like catastrophic thing. And then she even mentions it again in the last episode when she mentions the Darkhold talks about the you're the bringer of death or whatever the fuck she was. And then turns out she just wanted power the whole time. Like, come on, like, no.
Yeah, that was the basic easy way to do it. Just make her the classic bad guy trope. I want all the power. You want to make it more interesting? Make her sympathetic.
I do like they didn't blow her up.
They didn't kill her. That was another thing.
I was totally expecting when Wanda kept on firing all these bolts into her that she was gonna like overload and the magic was just gonna like come out of her and like she was gonna die.
And then reveal is.
I figured they would want to bring her back in Multiverse of Madness.
She should have been at the end. She should have been either a mentor or not a mentor. She should have either helped her like recuperate from it, like control it, like try to teach her like a mentor how to control it, or just complete fucking House of M that shit and it like and kind of incentivize her to do more. You know what I mean? Create more chaos, and then creating the House of M situation. But what they gave us was, I want the power. I'm going to have to do a CG battle with you, and then you're going to win, and we're just going to walk away from this, no big deal. And then Vision's thing. Although I hate the fact that it was the touch in the head and everything's done, and then Vision walks away. I really wanted that like a merger, like you said, where the two Visions became one, kind of Piccolo-ish, like that. But his fight scene was like it was stupid as fuck. It was just punch in the face. Who gives a fuck? But they did have that fucking ship of Theseus conversation, which I thought was genius for two robots to have. It was too logical.
How do you defeat an AI, right?
Right.
Like it goes all the way back to war games.
Yeah.
Make Joshua play checkers against tic-tac-toe against himself.
Yeah. See, it should have been more of that. I don't need punch in the face. Like, who gives a fuck? No one. No, I don't think anybody cares about those fight scenes, and like 0%. Unless you're like an 8-year-old who thinks that shit's really fucking cool. I don't know anybody who like watches those and be like,
part of the audience that they're going for.
Right. But like, not all of it. You know what I mean? The ending part was interesting. But
what I do like is maybe perhaps this will cause like some young teenagers to look up the ship of Theseus and maybe start looking into like freaking metaphysics and shit like that. That's fucking, because that shit is deep.
Well, I don't know how deep it goes. I just like the logic behind the conversation. Was just like, oh, if you rebuild, I don't know. I'm not familiar with it, but the way they were explaining it, because they kind of went step by step on how it works. If you destroy the ship of Theseus, but put it back together, is it still the ship of Theseus?
No. So
if as long as Theseus was ever in it, which would
so the thing is that the story goes that
Theseus, the Greek god, right?
No, the Greek, the Greek hero, the Greek
right, Medusa. Gotcha.
Right. No, that was Perseus.
Theseus was Minotaur then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, it was the Greeks held him in such high reverence that after he came back, they kept the ship that he had gone on his journey. And as pieces would start to go bad, they would come in and they would remove the piece that was going bad and they would replace it with a brand new piece. So the question is that after centuries, after
they replaced
each and every board have been replaced,
is it still the
ship of Theseus? Even though Theseus maybe never stood on or took or did or touched any of the pieces on this ship,
right?
And then somebody, I think it was Plutarch or something like that, introduced. Well, if after all the pieces had been replaced and you had this ship that was in good condition, if you took all the pieces that had been pulled off, and then rebuilt the ship of Theseus out of the old parts, which one is the real ship of Theseus? And that's where we get into the thing with Vision, right?
Right.
He's like, I'm here. I have to kill the Vision, and it's like, but I'm not the Vision. You're made of all the parts of the Vision.
Yeah.
Basically, you're more the Vision than I am.
Right.
And that could have gone one of two ways, because that could have led into like the whole thing the way they did it, or that could have led into some weird fucking robot logic of now I must destroy myself.
Which we don't know if that's what he did. Probably not, because I'm pretty sure this guy's gonna reprise his role as Vision. But that was like the most interesting part about that fight. I don't care about the punching in the face. I really did wish they did a fusion. Because I mean,
by the way,
you want to talk about sacrifice? That would have been cool.
I was gonna say, what do you think's a bigger pain in the ass, red face or white face?
What do you mean pain in the ass? To like as an actor,
when he's got to sit in makeup to become the Vision. What do you think is a bigger pain in the ass, becoming the red Vision or becoming the white Vision?
I don't think the color really matters, bro. They're filming this shit in Georgia. That boy is sweating underneath that prosthetics. Oh boy, God bless his soul.
You mean that fucking piece that goes like around his?
It's a whole headpiece. What are you talking about? That shit is a whole thing.
Like this is the only part of his face that's exposed. Is this like this piece in the front?
Yeah, but
everything else is like a shell of.
Yeah, but even these little parts has prosthetics on it. It's prosthetics all over his face. There's prosthetics everywhere. I don't think the color matters one bit. That poor guy.
Oh, I bet you one's easier to take off than the other.
Nah, it doesn't matter. That shit's gonna.
I bet you when he's Red Vision, I bet you like he goes through hair and makeup, gets back to his hotel, and when he hops in the shower, there's still red paint coming off of him.
Yeah, now he's just gonna look like a vampire. No big deal. But I don't know. The ending didn't
So
do it
let's
for me,
talk
bro.
about what we did like. So you liked the Vision stuff.
I like the Vision. I really liked Vision's arc. I think Vision was the star of this show
Okay.
overall. I liked. He was the one with the most conflict. As much as they tried pushing Wanda having the most conflict, I felt like Vision had the most actual
Yeah.
conflict.
Well,
He was the
Wanda.
one actively trying to figure out what was happening, and Wanda kind of just let it. Like she was just kind of accepting it, you know.
Well, I like how they do basically show Wanda going through the 5 steps.
Yeah, they do, but it's not as impressive as like Vision going out and seeing people like fucking rebooting and like him talking to somebody and unflicking them out of the control and them losing like complete despair. Then he has to like put him back in. That I thought was, you know, and then him going outside the hex and he's just like I want to help you guys and I think his arc was way better than Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they gave some good information in the last episode, like Wanda being more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme.
That Sorcerer Supreme is not like a powerful it's not like a power ranking. He's just more accessible to more power than she is.
I'm
She
going directly by what was said, and they did it on purpose. They want you to know that Wanda is more powerful than
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
okay.
I liked that they set up Monica Rambeau to talk to Nick Fury in that post-credit scene or mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
So that's setting up Captain Marvel. That was pretty good.
That's a good thing.
I know I know you're a hater with that, but I
Such
thought
a
that was
bad
cool.
character.
I'm very happy with the progression of Jimmy Woo. He is mastering he's learning the arts of magic and becoming a good magician.
It's almost like this show had a theme, you know? It's crazy.
We don't
Darcy.
know long
Darcy
term
looked
what
good.
effect Darcy will have had from going through the bubble.
Probably none.
She only went through once.
Yeah. Well, Monica only went through once when she started changing.
No, so her big
She
change,
went through a second time, and that's when she got. She started getting even more.
Didn't she go in 3
Well,
times?
we don't know.
The third time is when she got her powers.
So she went in, and that's basically what Darcy did. And then she came out, but Darcy never came out. And then the third time was when she got her power. So
You don't think that when Wanda was shrinking the bubble that everybody had to go through the bubble?
No.
That brings up
was
another
probably
point.
out.
Agatha was imprisoned in the hex. She had the
Yeah, but
hex.
she used a different spell on Agatha.
Doesn't matter. She was inside the hex.
Because after she depowered her, then she like put a spell on her to turn her into the nosy neighbor.
I think that's just your interpretation because all she did was this.
Whether or not
and
Agatha
then-
will get out of it, that's a different story.
That's my
They
point.
hinted at it because she's like, "Oh, what if you need my help?" And then she's like, "Oh, I'll know where to find you." So they hinted at it.
Yeah.
They did my boy Peter dirty as fuck. That's all dirty. Just so dirty. It's hard to say positive things because the last episode was just all bad. The second to last was fun. That was the Agatha all along thing.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to see what the multiverse of madness brings. I'm also looking forward to seeing what's going to occur now in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm not. I 0% have any interest in that shit.
I had 0% interest in Winter Soldier, and then I saw the movie, and it was still one of my favorite superhero movies. This may surprise us.
Well, you guys can let me know because I'm not down. The only reason why I was down to watch this show is just because of magic shit. Like my favorite movies in the MCU have to do with some kind of like quantum realm or like magic or some shit like that or space, and all the other ones I just kind of think they're boring as fuck. It's like Strange. I think Strange's movie is like fucking awesome. The Ant-Man I think is awesome, and And as much as everyone fucking shits on Ant-Man 2, I think Ant-Man 2 is dope as fuck. But all the other ones, I don't fucking care.
All right.
And I'm pretty sure, and I don't expect Falcon and Winter Soldier to have anything kind of like mind bending happening. It's
No,
just
I
going to
don't
be a
believe there is
straightforward.
gonna. I'm hopeful. What I'm hoping for is we get like a good old like political intrigue, kind of like we did with the Winter Soldier movie.
Yeah,
I mean, from what I can tell, like the little pieces I've been able to pull together, we know Steve um, left Sam the shield, and basically saying like that he wants him to take over the mantle. But we know that we're getting the character of U.S. Agent, who is like a freaking government stooge.
it's a dude.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking dude.
Right, but it is a.
Yeah, I don't like it, government agent. Should have. Nah, I mean, well, what are you gonna do with that cast? I don't even like those characters. I don't like Falcon. I don't think he's a good character. Winter Soldier. I mean, kind of cool, but like nothing crazy. I don't think. I don't know. I'm not interested. The bad guy is the most interesting thing about it.
I think War Machine's gonna be in it too.
War Machine also don't care.
Possibly.
I like Don Cheadle.
I like Don Cheadle as well. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I'm definitely gonna give it a go. I definitely am expecting it to be more political of a show.
That could be good. That could be good. Like I said, Winter Soldier is a fucking godlike movie.
Yeah. Because I'm like I said, the fact that they're bringing in U.S. Agent leads me to believe that like Sam gets the shield, but maybe the government doesn't think that Sam should be the next Captain America, and
he's
so
black.
they go out and they find this guy who's
like,
probably going to turn out to be like a bad guy or a pawn.
The
It's
Queen of
like-
England won't have it, bro. Come on now.
She's like, Captain America, no.
Yeah.
Maybe Captain Harlem or something. but
Also,
definitely-
we know Zemo's
Queen of
coming back and
England's
he's getting the mask.
maybe Captain Harlem, but definitely not America.
Anyways, so overall, we all enjoyed WandaVision. Pedro wishes he could have binged it. I'm perfectly fine with the week to week.
Nah, I do wish I binged it, but I do think that if it would have a better reception if it was bingeable. If people watched it all the way through, it wouldn't give us enough time to create all these speculations, and that's what really fucks up the story, because we came up with so much really cool shit. Like, even though I wanted Hydra, and you guys thought Hydra would have been stupid, but wouldn't it have been better than what we got?
See, Hydra would make more sense in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Regardless,
Like a Hydra
I'm talking about
resurgence.
Wanda. Wouldn't it have been better had there been some kind of connection outside of what we got for WandaVision? Like, the speculations that we came up with was so much more interesting than what we got. Like, everything from Maleficent or whatever that guy. No, not Maleficent. What's his name?
Mephisto.
Maleficent. Mephisto. From the Mephisto shit that we were talking about, how he could have been the husband to Agatha. Like, we came up with so much cool shit that like branches and expands the universe so much more. And they went with the most bare bone basic thing that they could possibly think of.
Or, I mean, if we're being honest, it could have really been any of the like characters from that realm of Marvel.
Yeah.
Mephisto, Chthon, Nightmare.
Yeah. But they didn't use any of it, and they just, and they also they did a bunch of like cock teases. I forget the actual term for it in storytelling.
Red herrings.
Red herrings. They had a whole bunch of red herrings where they would bring up like characters or idea of what a character could be, like Mr. Fantastic when she's like, oh, a space engineer or whatever, and they don't fucking cash in any of them. They just get you hyped for no reason. You had the Peter thing, fucking hyped everybody up, and did nothing with it. You had the space engineer or whatever that was, and did nothing with it. It was just some chick that gave her a car. Whoa, fucking dope, awesome. You know what I mean? Like they they knew how to pull our fucking strings, and they didn't know how to deliver on any of it. You know what I mean? That's bad.
That or they knew how to pull on our strings and never had any intention of delivering on any
But
of it.
that's not good storytelling, bro. If you're gonna do that, you have to have some kind of payoff.
Hey, it hooked us, and we're coming back for more. So you know,
You
I'm
are.
excited for Loki. That's going to be
Yeah.
very timey-wimey and alternate universe.
It'll be the Marvel Doctor Who.
Maybe. And we do have one more episode of WandaVision, but it's not.
We have a
like-
behind the scenes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I saw online that there was some stuff cut out, and one of them being what I think you guys brought up, that Agatha's son was called Snippy or something like that, and
Oh,
Nicholas Scratch.
Scratch, Scratch, and there was going to be a scene with Photon going into the basement to try to break down her, or to get the book, and then the rabbit was going to be guarding it, and when she goes to like flick it off, he was going to transform into like a monster, and that was supposed to be Scratch.
That'd have been cool.
Right, but they said they cut it out because it was the finale, while Agatha was fighting Scarlet Witch and Vision was fighting other Vision. That was going to also be in the middle of it, and they didn't want to take away from the two other things that were happening, so they took it out.
All right.
Yeah, so that's a thing. They had some idea of doing something cool, but they took it out. It's fucked up. Yeah, what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? And it like I always sound like I'm hating on everything, but that's only because I fucking really like this kind of shit. But yeah, you said it right. They're writing it for little kids, but at some point they're getting references from stuff that are like they're like teens and like adult. Like House of M isn't a child's story. You know what I mean? The original Avengers from like the 60s and 70s, that's for kids. That's for like 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds. But when you get to House of M, it's very mature. And this was heading that direction. We deserved a more mature ending than we got.
I mean, there were a lot of really dark themes in the show.
But keep in mind that it's still a program for all ages.
Yeah.
This program's on Disney Plus. This program's not on Hulu.
No, it don't matter. You can still make, No,
and as an adult who's grown up, with comic books and who loves these characters and loves these stories, I'm all for there being a place where you could tell stories for adults that involve these comic book characters. I think that's where characters like the Punisher come in. Where you want those stories to be.
Hopefully, that's what we're getting for Moon Knight. Because if they make Moon Knight a PG fucking show, that's gonna fucking suck. But anyway, continue with your point.
Yeah, but I also understand that the medium of comic book storytelling and the medium of the superhero genre has always been an all ages, come one, come all.
The latter. Comic books aren't for kids; they're for everybody.
Certain
but the superhero comic books is very much a child-centric media, like genre.
Well, it's an all ages. The best comic books have always been able to tell a story that a kid could understand, while simultaneously having things that older people would go, "Oh wow, that's actually pretty deep," or that's actually well written. That's a good, well written comic book.
Well, actually, historically, the best written ones are not kids friendly. The best ones majority of them are written by Alan Moore.
Historically, the most critically acclaimed are not kid friendly.
No,
but think back on your childhood of some of the best comic book storylines. Like some of my favorite comic book storylines growing up were things like Secret Wars and freaking Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, but those are all superhero things. I'm talking about.
But that's what I grew up on.
I know.
I didn't discover things like Sandman and all that until I got older.
Right, but saying comic books as superheroes is like saying fucking books are Harry Potter. You know what I mean? That's not true.
Except the vast majority of comic books in print are superhero comic books.
No, they're not actually.
The majority?
The majority aren't. There's comic books all over the world that's written for. There's fucking sex comic books and shit. There's fucking adult themed comic books.
Well, I
But
don't live in other parts of the world. I live in this part of the world.
right, in this country, yeah, it's all about superheroes because that's our mythology. That's what we believe in, that kind of shit. But you go to like
It's
any other,
about America, okay?
yeah,
I
I'm
don't know what
sorry,
you're
yeah,
talking
you're
about.
right, you're right, my bad.
America first.
You're right, but like Image has done a great job of showing you that that's not true because they don't have any superhero. There's like a
Well,
handful of
but
superheroes in
Image is
Image.
like the 15-year-olds and up. Like they're not
Yeah.
for like you wouldn't hand a copy of Spawn to like a 10-year-old.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They're not, and Spawn is a superhero, but you have shit like Why the Last Man. That's not for
No,
that's,
and again, that's young adult.
right. And you have I
But
forgot Nemesis.
even Why the
Nemesis is
Last
also
Man, while dealing with some heavy subjects, is still a young adult. Like there's nothing in Why the Last Man that I'm like, holy shit! Like you should have let anyone under 18 see that.
yeah, I guess so. But that's I mean, I could make an argument with fucking From Hell and that line of comic books, but that's no, I don't know anybody who's read. I haven't even read that shit all the way through because it's like a Bible. It's gigantic.
I just remember the Johnny Depp movie.
Right. Well, there's a comic book called From Hell
I know.
where it's like a detective
That's about
story
it's about
about
Jack the Ripper.
yeah, them trying to find out who Jack the Ripper was, and it's fucking super graphic. And that is absolutely not for kids. And just like that one, in the same vein, there's a billion of comic books that are out there that serve the same purpose. But yes, like a lot of it is superhero, but it's only because it's like the it's where it came from. I don't know. I can't think of the word. So the boom of comic books came from superhero comics, and from there they started like experimenting with other kind of storytelling, and
Well,
whatever.
it was a big thing. Also, was the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah.
And when the comics industry decided to regulate itself, they basically got rid of all those like horror and like noir books.
Oh, but now we're talking about way back. Because if we're talking
Well,
about
this
the
was like
inception of
this
this
was like the
shit, it was
50s
like
and 60s.
yeah. But if we're talking about the inception of comic books, it wasn't superhero. It was like fucking love novels and fucking
Yeah,
and like horror books and shit like that.
right. But we're
But I
talking about
digress.
like in our lifetime, what's widely considered a popular
Right, but
comics.
the whole thing that we're talking about, we're saying like the best stories in comic books told. Like I think Watchmen has been like I think it won a prize. I forget what award it won.
Eisner Award.
I think it won something for literature, and they had to take comic books off of the nominate. Like you can't nominate a graphic novel anymore because they didn't consider that a novel, which is fucked up. But at that time, he was like kicking out story after story that were like getting all this recognition, like V for Vendetta, the Killing Joke, which is also a superhero comic that's not for fucking kids. Watchmen, Frank Miller's fucking Dark Knight Returns, not a kid friendly book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Most of these that have won awards aren't for kids. The ones that the kids' stories are the lizard man is taking over the town. What is he gonna do? He's trying to turn everybody into lizards.
Right. But that's their audience. That's what they're going for. That's what Marvel's going for.
Right.
We want to grab the kids because the same way that we grabbed the 8-year-old 10 years ago when we came out with the first Marvel movie, and now they're 18 and they're still watching our movies.
Yeah, but my argument is they're not taking the storylines from those books anymore. They're taking storylines from Dark Knight Returns. They're taking storylines from House of M, even the Vision comic book. They're taking stories from very much mature written books.
They're taking bits and pieces of it.
And they're turning them into like little kid bullshit. And they're not written that way. They're written way more mature. So whatever. I mean, I understand they're trying to get the kid thing, but like, we deserve better. You know what I mean? Like these stories are actually written by like talented individuals that like pour their heart and soul into it. And just to see like a bullshit version of it on the screen kind of hurts.
Version.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking. It kind of hurts,
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I get it. And if I was a writer, maybe I would be upset with it. But at the same time, I would also be like, well, but maybe this will also inspire like a younger generation to like pick up comics, which is a struggling industry.
Yeah,
and maybe one day they'll read what I actually wrote.
Dude, you'd be surprised. So today I went to go pick up my pull at Tate's, not at Tate's, at Corca, and there was two, I want to say like maybe college girls, right? And they were looking for, obviously because WandaVision just ended, they were advertising the Vision comic and House of M, because both of those were pretty much what made this comic book.
Mhm.
You know what they went for? The pops. People don't care about fucking reading comics anymore, man. They just don't give a shit. They don't care where it came from. They just want to get the stuff that they like. So they saw the pop, and the pops are $10 a piece. Those two books, they were $12 each.
Mhm.
You could have just bought the books and read them, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to buy the thing. So I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's sad, but whatever. It's
Different
the way,
priorities for different people.
exactly. It's the way it's designed.
Mhm.
But anyway, so yeah, that was a
Yeah.
tangent. Sorry, Raul, you look super interested.
Raul was super interested in the tangent.
I am very tired. That's
Yeah.
It's been a long week and a half.
There you go. Anyways, if you stuck around this long, thank you so much for sticking around. If you've not done so, join the Facebook group. That's where the majority of our discussions are happening daily. That's facebook.com/we ain't found Sith. And if you're watching us on any of the other platforms, please remember to click subscribe. We are in talks, in negotiations. We may be adding another YouTube channel to our repertoire. Nothing's final yet. Nothing's set in stone. We will make the announcement when we're ready to make the announcement. But let's just say that it's a YouTube channel with a lot more subscribers than our YouTube channel, and we're hoping that it'll maybe expand our base. Next week we will be back. We will be starting our March Madness tournament. We have broken down the polls from the 4 rounds of voting for the best song from a movie. I have made the brackets, and we will be back next week with round 1 of our March Madness tournament. Raul, I'm not sure exactly if we'll have you on for that one. I know that we want to keep the number of voters odd so that we don't have a tie. But we will be in contact, good sir. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. Remember, it's We Ain't Found Sith on all the social media platforms. And until then, we'll see you later, Sith heads.